we'll just jump right into the next one. Looking at week 7. Now, when I did these screenshots and I put these slides together, this was Monday night. So some of these have changed, some of these scores. I try not to pay too much attention until we actually do this video.
Yeah, I haven't looked at them at all. I just know mine.
hmm And the first one, me versus Chris, man. Number 1 versus number 2.
Yeah,
The man with the most wins versus the man with the fewest losses. First
yeah.
things first.
I mean, I think it's not even close to being debatable who the better Altina brother is.
Well, I lost to Scott. Scott's the only person that's beat me this year. I got a lot of
Yeah.
respect for Scott, but I like to cheer for Chris. So we'll see what happens. I think it's batting first pitching, and I know I said I try not to look at it, but I can't help but watch my own matchup. He is
Ooh,
currently 5-0 in batting, and I'm 4 and tied, so 4-1 in pitching. So
I
it
will
does seem
say, I
like it's going to
mean,
come to that.
I am a strong batting team, and I'm pretty sure he took all 5 categories in batting against me.
Yeah, even after the
So,
draft, I said Chris has the most monster batting team, and last year he had a monster batting team. It's like how he
yeah.
drafts, it's what he does. He has a monster batting team. For me, key players, I need Christian Walker to keep showing up, which he's hit a home run so far this week. He was kind of my darling later round pick. He's the reason I was okay not taking Pete Alonso in the first round. I wasn't going to reach for him because I really liked Christian Walker to lean back on later. And yeah, I think if I'm gonna win anything in batting, I'm gonna need a big bump. But now that I have Julio Rodriguez, I'm gonna get that Julio bump. I should have switched that
Hmm.
to my key player had I known. And then for Chris, I picked Carlos Correa. He's just been okay so far. I don't know if you guys follow baseball in the offseason at all, but he was offered $500 million to play for the Giants. And then he said okay. He showed up and he failed a physical. And
Oh,
then the
this is that
Mets,
dude?
yeah, and then the Mets said, "Hey, we'll pay 350 million for him." And we did the physical, and we're like, "No deal." And then he went back to the Twins. He has glass ankles. No one thinks he's going to hold up long term, but you know what? The Twins brought him back. He's been doing okay. His
Hmm.
batting average is a little low, so I put him. I just wanted to pick him because I know Chris is a big Twins fan, and unlike the Giants, unlike the Mets, Chris still believes in Carlos Correa. So yeah, put him as his big key player of the week here. Who do you think wins this?
Oh, I'm full on going Chris. I'm sorry. I'm betting against you for the first time this season, Andrew.
Wow. Caleb?
Um, I'll go with Andrew.
Well,
Wrong.
I'm going with you. Then
Idiot.
I think
Yep,
Chris
it's
crushes me.
Chris.
I know I can't compete with his batting, and like I said, I don't look at most of the matchups until we do this, but this one's mine, so I have watched it. He's fucking crushing me in batting, and
Mhm.
I don't think I catch him on anything. So at worst for him, it's 5-5. So
Yeah.
I think Chris
It
has this locked up. I am
I
going to
mean,
try my damnedest to get this to 5-5, but if I
just
have to
going
pick one, I pick
from
Chris.
my experience, I was facing Chris and I'm like, "Oh, look, nice. My team's at like 6 home runs and a few stolen bases." And then I look at him and he's at like 14 home runs and 8 stolen bases. And I'm like, "Oh, whew, no
Yeah,
fun."
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
tough team to face.
he's crazy. He's tough.
Yeah, I think he deserves first place. I hope he can earn it this week. I mean, here's his chance. I'm sitting right here. Come
Mhm.
for it, Chris. Our next matchup, a man I very much respect, Nick, versus Scott. Only team that's beaten me, so I respect these. Respect both these teams. I thought this was the hardest match to call out of all of them.
Mhm. Well, I mean, you
Uh,
even have the screenshot at 5-5.
yeah, it was at 5-5 when I was even looking at this, and I was like, I can really see it go either way. I think Nick's. I looked at their batting a lot on a weekly basis, and Nick's team is pretty much better at runs and RBIs. Scott's team's better at the OBP and home runs. Scott doesn't go for saves, so I thought, yeah, maybe that's a potential tiebreaker here for the 5-5.
Mhm.
Only 81 innings pitched, but 14 ERA is pretty bad for Nick when I took the screenshot. That was night one. I don't know how much he's recovered, but that was a rough start for him. I would have maybe picked him if it was all zeroed out and I had no knowledge. I would have maybe picked him to win on the pitching being the edge for him, but that is a tough starting point on the ERA to have to
Mhm.
battle against that. I don't know about you guys, but Monday's the most stressful night for pitching for me. Like, if your guys go out and bomb on Monday, it feels like an uphill
Yeah.
battle all week to get that ERA down.
Your ERA shit, your whip is shit.
Yeah, where like in truth, you just need them to have one bad night, but you're behind the eight ball when it happens to you the first night of the week. So I have no idea how that's recovered to this point now, but that would have made me nervous if I was Nick to see that ERA spike like that. But yeah, key players for Nick, Alex Bregman, Houston Astro, low average, decent home run RBI runs. He was a high round draft pick, and I think more was expected of him. So he needs to start turning around, start hitting some home runs for our boy Nick, so he can compete a little bit more. Because his home runs in comparison to Scott have been low. And then
Mhm.
Scott just wants the opposite, right? Keep hitting more home runs. Max Muncy, 14 home runs on the season so far. So that's
A lot
Max
of
Muncy, I
RBIs.
believe,
but-
is the one battling for first in home runs with Pete Alonso. So
Mhm.
Max Muncy's been popping off. He was an I don't want to say nobody last year because he was rostered a lot, but he sat on the
Well,
free agency a lot last year. I was like,
I'll
I
be
don't get
honest.
why everyone loves him. He's
He
overrated.
looks like a nobody.
Yeah, but
I
he's
mean,
this is me learning because I'm new to baseball, especially fantasy baseball. If I'm not a Mets player, I never really looked at them at all. But yeah, Max Muncy is killing it this year. 14 home runs. To me, he's like a nobody, and now he's balling out. So
mhm.
Scott just needs to keep that batting up, keep those home runs up, and I think he can bring it home. What's your gut feeling on this one? I'll let Caleb go first because Ethan and I have to
Nick.
make these official purse picks.
Wrong again.
You're gonna go with Nick. Is there any reasoning, or have I just convinced you through
No,
all
I
these
just
stats?
believe in it. Believe
Then
in
you
Nick.
said wrong, Ethan. So you're going Scotty.
Yeah, it's Scott. I mean,
The butthole showers.
yeah, the butthole showers. They have my complete and utter trust. I mean, they're the only team that's beat the number one spot. You know.
That's true. I do think Scott's team is really good. This is the hardest match of the week, I think, to call. I like both these teams, I respect both these managers, and my instinct is to pick Scott, but I spent all last year not respecting Nick enough. And so I'm
Hmm.
gonna turn the page on this and I'm gonna go and pick Nick for
I
this close game.
respect your
Ding
respect.
ding ding.
It's 100% based off of respect, not actual numbers. I'm just looking at him and I say I'm gonna respect him this time. It's close. I'm gonna give him the respect. So I pick Nick to win this matchup. All right, next one. We got this batting powerhouse up and comer, Ethan.
Hmm.
Worst team. It's really second worst team.
Yeah,
Uh, going against Art, who you
the
said you don't
Phantom.
respect.
Oh, not at all. I mean, for me, Art and I have a history. I don't know if he knows we have a history. I don't think he even knows who I
But
am.
it's there. Yeah,
Um, but it's there for me. Uh,
right.
I mean, you see that bronze border, and then you look over at Art, and I mean, I have to give him a little respect. But then, come the end of the week, I'm always winning versus him, and I respect him less and less. So
I will say it's not a silver. He's back to platinum, baby.
yeah,
That's
that's a
platinum.
platinum border. The only platinum player in the
And
league, I
guess who
believe.
lost 7-3 last week? Art.
Hmm.
Art.
Art did.
Yeah,
Yeah, Art's had
which
a bit of a cold streak here.
yeah, I've respected Art so far this season. I mean, I think he's done very well against people. Um, but
Yeah, he's in fourth right now.
it's a little bit like the brisket curse that his son has. We call this the Bassett curse he has against me.
I didn't respect Art's team. You convinced me early in the year. Post draft, I didn't like it. Uh, he's turned it around. I think his team's really good. I think it's
Hmm.
definitely a top 4 team in the league. I fear having to play it. I wanted to ask you: does it feel like a must-win week? Is this where the turn starts, the climb back up, or do you think maybe
No,
one
I
more
mean,
week and then the climb starts?
I think in all honesty, I mean, the climb doesn't need to start until halfway through the season. Just because I mean, it makes sense to me. You lose to everybody the first half, and then you win against everybody the
And
second half.
That does
then you
make
come
sense.
back strong.
That,
So
yeah, that's
I
all
looked
that
at his
matters.
batting versus your batting, head to head
Hmm.
versus Art. You're 10-30 in batting versus him. In
Yeah.
the last 2 weeks, 3-10. For 0-6 in runs versus him, like looking at all year, your team has never had as many runs. And that's even with you having way more at bats than him. You have about 200 more at bats than he has,
Hmm.
and it's still 0-6 versus runs. I do think the path for you, you've been really close on home runs and stolen bases versus him, sometimes beating him. So I think home runs, stolen bases, RBI. Those are your three in the batting world you want to focus in on, and then saves, ERA, and WHIP. Because Art's pitching's been for real. He's going to have a lot of strikeouts. He's going to have a lot of innings pitched.
Hmm.
So I do think the saves, especially now that you got Romano, and then ERA, WHIP. That's the path. Those are the 6 categories I think you could target to beat him this week.
I will say it is just funny for me to see his innings pitched at 15 and mine at point 0.2.
Yeah, in this
That-
picture. Key players, because I think saves are so important. Josh Hader. Uh,
Mhm.
Probably, I'd
He's
say
done
most people's
great.
number one closer. Emmanuel Clase, who I have in Romano, are up there. Although you just got Romano in a trade live on
Mhm.
air. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I think you'll definitely lock up saves now.
Yeah,
And for
I mean,
him, Ronald Acuna, 17 stolen bases, 9 home runs.
that's a
And his
lot of
average is
stolen
so
bases.
high. He's just dominating everything, man. It makes me so
Mhm.
mad because that should be my player. The draft got messed up. The
Yeah.
player I have isn't even on the team now. He's in NA. So
Uh,
he's not even on the roster right now. Meanwhile, Ronald Acuna popping off.
killing it.
Absolute stud. He's proving a lot of people thought it was crazy that he was getting taken over Judge. I think he's proving why. I mean, outstanding in every category. He's really a 5 category player. Nothing
Mhm.
to complain about with him, other than he plays for the Braves. Yeah. Next matchup, Brisket Curse versus
Oh wait,
We didn't choose.
we didn't vote. Obviously, it's
Oh,
me. Um,
I choose Art.
I'm going Art on
uh,
this one as well. I
okay.
do see the path for you. I see the path. I laid it out.
Huh?
Um, yeah, Art's team's pretty solid though. So I got to see more wins out of you to start betting on it. So
Mhm.
I'll go Art. You'll
That's
bet
fine.
on yourself. All right, Brisket Curse versus the worst team. I didn't put too much analysis into this one.
Yeah.
I just said the curse
I
isn't strong enough yet for this to sink in.
yeah. I mean, I think we can pretty much skip over it. I'm voting for Vince. Um.
I said for Aaron, his key player was Rafael Devers. He's balling out. I think he's been the best third baseman so far. He was my favorite third baseman. I took Ramirez, who goes early and before him, but I love Rafael Devers. Even though he's on a crap team, he has 38 RBIs. So good for him. For Vince, I think the key player is Aaron. Just let him continue to do what he's doing. 14-43 so far.
Let the
So
cook.
yeah, let him. That's his key to success here. This is not a confidence in Vince or his management. I think he's cursed.
Mhm.
He's a Brisket curse. I just think he happens to be playing the worst team this week. So
Yeah.
I don't know when Altuve comes back for Aaron, but he has some good players. He's gotten trade offers. I am really happy. I offered Simeon to Aaron, I think for Trey Turner, and he told me no. And Simeon's the second ranked player right now in all of fantasy baseball. So I'm glad he turned that down. That's worked out for me. But yeah, anything else to cover on this matchup? I think that says it all, really.
Yeah. I got nothing on this one.
Okay. This one I'm really looking forward to. You missed it earlier when we were talking about Caleb, but I'm really proud of Caleb. His streak the last 2 weeks has been 15-5, and that was versus
Caleb,
Josh
I'm
and
proud of
Art.
you.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
he beat Josh 8-2, and then
And he
last
beat
week,
Art, which
and then he beat Art 7-3. Two good teams.
nice.
Caleb's team, I think, is officially heated up, and this week is his chance to catch on fire versus Lucas.
hmm
Lucas has been
I,
hot too, though.
while we have you as a guest, Caleb, just it may have been explained and I may have missed it. Can you explain your team name?
Oh, yeah. So Simon was a silly gnome,
It makes
and
more
now
sense now.
Simon is off in some void somewhere,
Yep.
wandering around, waiting to be found,
Well, the
waiting to
deck
be
of many
wished
things
bad.
is a risky item to use.
Yeah. Well, you win some, you lose some.
But yeah, both teams are batting hot. I do think Lucas
Mhm.
has the edge on home runs, runs, RBI, and I think Lucas will win in wins, saves, and strikeouts. So that's 6-4. I would pick Lucas when I broke this down to win. But
Mhm.
I want to believe in you, Caleb, because your team's
I'll
hot.
pick Caleb.
I mean, I
I'll pick
believe in
Caleb.
myself.
He's in here with us. I believe in him.
Giving him the bump.
Yep.
I do
Caleb,
think
you got it.
the
Don't
key
fail
I
me.
mean, have you
player.
seen Nolan Arenado? Like
No,
4 home runs in the
I
last
almost
5
picked
games.
Arenado as your key player because he is picking up now. The Cardinals are finally getting better.
On fire.
However, for your key player, I just love saying his name. I picked Mookie Betts.
Mookie.
He's a safe bet.
Okay.
Mookie Betts. Never bets against him. So 9 home runs, a lot of runs, a lot of RBIs. I think you need him and some of the other batters, like you said, Nolan Arenado, to pick it up and do a little better. And if you could win some of these batting categories, then yeah, you can turn this week. For Lucas, I picked Marcus Stroman. He started off hot, then he cooled down, and I think he's heating back up. He definitely needs to try to beat you in wins and saves, and he needs to win out of Marcus this week. So I don't even know if he's already played. Maybe I have an answer if this worked out, but I just like Marcus Stroman. I like his swagger. I'm glad he's kind of working out for the Cubs. He used to be a Mets pitcher, so I really like him. I'm hoping the best for him. Key player for Lucas. And then the final
Nice.
matchup that we need to talk
Ooh, the
about.
two new guys.
Two new guys, Josh versus Cole. We finally get to see them face off. They both have had 6 weeks to get a taste for this game, and now we throw them against each other. They're 9th and 10th place, so they're very close in as far as ranking. And it maybe not the best match of the week, but I think this one's the most fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good matchups this week because I really like watching Caleb versus Lucas, and I really like that battle at the top, me versus Chris. But this one's really fun for me too. I am really curious what happens in this matchup.
Yeah.
I think Cole's a
Let me
better
ask you
batting
a
team.
quick
Josh is better pitching.
question. You know Josh a little better than I do, Andrew. Do you think he respects the vets?
Oh yeah, he
Hell
respects War
no.
Hero Cole. He respects War Hero Cole. I'm not gonna say all vets, but he
Okay.
respects War Hero Cole.
Oh, like actual veterans.
Yeah.
What did you
Did you mean
think?
veteran players?
Like league veterans, like people who have been in the league longer.
Oh,
Hell no, he doesn't. I
No,
would say
no.
he respects vets. Yeah.
I don't think in
Veteran.
fantasy he respects anyone. I would
No.
I
Yeah.
would describe Josh in fantasy. Have you ever seen Talladega Nights?
Yes. I have.
Yeah.
He's the French guy.
Excellence. Oh, never mind.
He does seem pretty French. I agree.
So like the French guy, Sacha Baron Cohen, I forget his character's name, but he's just looking for someone to actually challenge him. He wants someone to beat him. And he's just dominated so much in fantasy base or football. I think the whole reason he came to baseball, just like in Talladega Nights, he left Formula One and came down to NASCAR racing. I think the whole reasoning is he just wants a challenge, and that's what he's going to get in baseball. And he's in 9th place, so I think so far he's had a bit of a challenge.
I hate that you're using a movie to talk about this because when I compared myself to the main character of a movie, in the group chat, nobody laughed. I was, disrespecting you guys because I said I was the main character in The Ringer, and you guys were the special needs athletes.
Yeah.
But
I didn't think a comment was needed back. I was insulted.
I thought it was a great joke.
Who do you have winning this one?
I have Josh. I mean, Josh puts his heart and soul into fantasy. I mean, I know football doesn't matter here, but he is the emperor, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't bet
Yeah.
against the emperor.
I think he has a firmer grasp on streaming, so I got to go with Josh on this one as well. I want to pick War Hero Cole, but until I see him jump out of the bottom 3 places, I can't believe. So I'm gonna go with Josh on this one as well.
War
Same.
heroes are known for coming from behind, though. I mean, war heroes are the underdog.
All right, so final picks. Just to recap here, we both picked Chris to win. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
I picked
Then
Nick.
I
You
picked
picked
Scott.
Scott. You picked
Hmm.
yourself. I picked Art.
Yep.
We both picked Vince.
Yep.
You picked Caleb. I picked Lucas.
Hmm.
And then we both picked Josh.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some room to change. We got 3 different picks.
Oh yeah, I did recap on week 5 our picks. The ones you and I agreed on, 4-0, and
Hmm.
then I snuck ahead
So
of you. I had a perfect 6 because I picked Caleb. I
all
never doubted
all
you,
I'm
buddy.
really seeing is if we agree on something, Andrew, that's the way it happens.
Yeah, as far as week 5 went, that's 100% correct. We called it. So, all right, that's what I'll end it. Thanks for coming on, Caleb. Appreciate it.
You
It's
are
nice to get
welcome.
a outside opinion. Other than our genius takes. People like hearing other voices sometimes.
I do think on the docket next week's special guest, it looks like we have Barack Obama. So we can all get excited for that.
We know he can make picks.